Support for this podcast is brought to you by xbrain.co.uk and a promo code fighting words to save 30% off of your order. Support is also brought to you by our boys at Market Squawk for all of your on-demand data needs, powered by Live Squawk. Market Squawk delivers all of your low latency data to you all. We have the absolute and utter delight to be joined by arguably our first biggest guest, arguably someone that constantly is hailed as our best episode. Mr. Johnny Nelson is back again. How you doing, boss?
Thank you, I'm back. Nice to be back. Number one, how do you remember such an intro? It's like, I'm like, damn, is he reading that off? And number two, what we just mentioned off camera, you boys are doing well because you've got belts galore. You're winning titles after titles, gloves, pictures, everything's there. So
toys,
more belts than yours.
Amazon loves us.
Yeah, no, but the problem is you. Well, I earned mine in a different way. You earned yours properly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, you know what? No, it's worth the plug. It looks good when you've got visitors anyway. So
exactly. When people come around to check the flat, they look at it and they're a little bit concerned, a little bit confused, but then they realise.
Let me show you mine whilst we're on it. Look at this. They're mine.
Yeah.
They're mine. So that's mine up there. He's dusting up there.
That's how they're supposed to look.
That's a sax that I never play yet. But so I've got, you know what I've done? I've got a few belts scattered about, but one's in a university, one's at a school. One I gave Brendan.
Yep.
And obviously when he passed away, I pass it on to John. I don't know what the others. I don't know. I think I might give me all. You just think it's nice to have him. Yeah. But in reality, I just think, to me, the Lonzo belts, great European title belts out there. Mm-hmm. I just think to myself, it was never about the money. It was never about even the belts. When the belts afterwards were like, oh yeah, shit, I get that too. I think for me, it was about getting the win because I was such, excuse my French, a tosser to start with. I just didn't have the confidence to match my ability. So winning was what I was after, thinking, yes, I've done it again. And then all of a sudden I'm getting paid, I'm getting the belt. Oh yes, double whammy. So, and Brandon always used to say to us, don't make money your God. Never were. These belts used to be under my bed, collecting dust. And it's just, to me, I just thought, it's nice to have them. Yeah. But I just like, my daughter's boyfriend, she lives next door. So he came in earlier on and took him down to take some pictures with him. And he didn't put them back up again. Anyway, I walked in. I didn't even notice they were gone. then he said, I've got to put your belts down. I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, shit. I didn't even notice they were gone.
See, we're in there now, so it's all about the belts for us.
Yeah, exactly. How are you going to come into the entertainer's house, take his belts down and not put them back up again? You can't be flashing it on Graham when they're not even yours,
I think you didn't realise I'd be back that quick. I think that's what true.
Nice. But like one of the boys that you got on Boxer at the minute, Dan Aziz, like he's won his British. He was absolutely buzzing to win that. Our boy, who's Dan's boy as well, Denzel Bentley, he's got his second British. And when you speak to those boys, again, like it's not about the fame, it's not about the money, exactly what you said. It was about the win. And like for Denz, you speak to him about winning his British for the second time. He's like, yeah, I want European, I want world, I want this, I want that. These are like milestones. These are place markers for them. And that's what you
they are. Yeah, they are. And I think if you look at it like that, you give yourself no limits, then you can achieve unbelievable things. And some guys, their goal might be to be Central Area champion or British champion. And once they commit themselves to getting that, they struggle to get anything more because they've quenched their thirst with what they want. And so when I was coming through, once I started to win, it wasn't about the belts. It was about proving to myself I'm actually not as bad as what I thought I was or what everybody else thought I was. I'm actually as good as what Brendan said I was. Yeah. So when I won British European, wasn't like, yes, I've done it. My belly wasn't full. I wasn't complacent. I just thought, is that it? I want more than this. And so when you see those champions that has unified belts and defended, that's the mentality they've got. The youngsters coming through, they've got to understand, they've got to have the mentality of using a British title as a stepping stone using holding on as a stepping stone, Commonwealth, European, use them as stepping stones, or even become a world champion as a stepping stone. And then doing it that way, you'll always fight like a hungry man instead of fighting like a hunted man. A hunted man's always watching what's behind him, what's coming. A hungry man is watching what's in front of him, and he's got something to aim for, something to chase. So with if you've got that hunted mentality, you will be forever succeeding. And that's a transferable skill in any walk of life. Yeah. It's just having a hunter's mentality, not a haunted mentality. Hunters, it's like Amir Khan and Kell Brook. One fight I went, Noel Gallagher used this line. I thought, shit, how would you know that over me? And he said, one came to win, the other came not to lose.
Yeah.
You understand? So which one's the most powerful fighter? The one that came to win. The one that came not to lose, he's just defending, catching, blocking, whatever. The one that came to win, he's the hunter. Kell was the hunter. And so that meant that's the mentality. I tell you, when I do stuff, I do think you go through good things and bad. And those experiences, that's what you remember to give you wisdom. And you can transfer it to anything.
How hard was that for you to be relatively impartial during that? Because obviously Kell has been your boy for so long, but it's also a Sky pay-per-view, and you got your man Adam, you got to be. Was that tough?
So what happens is in situations like that, you've got to be ready to fall on your sword. I'll give you another example. A young guy called Sheldon McDonald, he was boxing in the boxer tournament the other week. He actually goes out with my daughter, and I talked to him into turning professional because we used to do some pads outside. I said, turn pro, you'll be all right. And the guy is like unbelievable. The talent he has is ridiculous for what he doesn't know. And I got him into the tournament, and Ryan Rose had his fighter, Ricky Reeves. And so I created this, Ryan, I'm going to get your boy, we're going to blah, blah. Anyway, Ricky Reeves turned my boy over. So and it's like, at the end of it, you've got to swallow it. You've got to sell it hard, and you've got to be prepared to take your licks. And so when Kell was boxing Amir Khan, you can only tell the truth. Now, you've got certain guys that when they're talking about fights, regardless of what you say or do, they're going to tell you saw something else. I'll be brutally honest. Now, if Kell got beat up and boxed shite, I said, you know what, he boxed shite. That's how it was. I knew what Kell was capable of doing. I knew Kell obsessed about Amir Khan. Amir Khan was aware of Kell Brook, but I don't think he fully respected Kell, but was very, very aware of him. I knew that Kell had, for the first time, committed himself to a fight like he'd done no other fight. So in my head, I'm going to put my house on it. I'm going to say, but I did say, and I asked Dominic, what do you think? And Dominic said, Johnny, we won't know until the first bell goes. Now, when we were doing the show, a load of Amir Khan fans were right next to our studio where we're doing it from. And they're shouting, excuse my French, Nelson, you wanker! All this sort of stuff. And we're on air. Now, I don't walk with anybody. I can walk by myself. I don't mind, because if you say something, you've got to back it up. So if I tell you, this man's going to fight, that man's going to fight, sorry. If I say this man's going to fight or that man's going to fight, then what's going to happen is you've got to back it up. I can't just say it out there, because you make yourself look an idiot. So it came to the commercial break. I put the mic down and I got off the stage to walk around. The security said, we'll come with you. I went, no, stay here, man. Stay here. Because remember, that's where you get the respect of the people you're going to. So all these fans, hundreds of so, no, man, give me shit. I got up onto the barrier where they were. I said, boys, who are you for? And they said, Khan, you're a Brook fan, wanker. I went, right, cool. But they respected the fact that I wasn't one that came and stood amongst them and said, yo, I went, all right then. I said, may the best man win. He said, yeah, you know what? You're all right, can we have a picture? And so pop.
But this is it. You're one of the most loved people in British boxing, and you're an ex-world champion, and you're also a bit of a unit.
But then the banter stopped. The banter stopped then. And then after the fight, they didn't give me shit. I didn't give them shit. But the banter stopped. You're prepared to take that. And even when you're on social media, and I say to sportsmen, and get it as much as possible. If you're a sportsman or woman doing your sport, and you're getting some stick from some armchair champion, and to the point where it affects your performance, and you're saying, I'm coming off social media because of nasty things that people say, the only idiot is you, not them. Because if you're the one that's getting up at stupid o'clock in the morning to train and prepare for stuff, if you're the one that's dieting, committing your life, your friendships, and everything around your life to do this. And somebody that's never even tried what you're doing can say one thing to put you off. Who's the idiot? The idiot is a weak one that's getting. So then, to me, it's charm and disarm. You can slag me off as much as you want, and I'll actually say, you know what, you're right. I'm a bit of a tosser. And next minute they'll come back. You're all right, you. Because all they want is that interaction. And that's it. Carl Frost's got some stick the other day. Carl's brilliant.
He loves it.
He's a proper wind-up merchant. So Carl, his background is they were brought up in pubs. So as a young man, you know, kids that brought up in pubs are a bit more mature than other kids, and they see a lot of stuff that goes on. Carl, even at work, proper wind-up merchant, but he's a right straight pan face, and every time he does that 80,000 fans thing, he waits till the camera goes off and we go like that, and he does it on purpose because he knows, and he won't smile when people want the picture. He'll go out on purpose, won't smile, and so I think he'd been on holiday. He was on holiday and he was in his little budgie smugglers on the beach.
Yes.
And he took a picture and he said, my wife thinks I'm fit. What do you think? And some guy was giving him stick, saying, you tosser, blah, blah, blah. So I saw it. And Carl's my boy. And I just said, my friend, you need Jesus.
That's the only response, isn't it, at that point?
You need Jesus. And Nelson Yoruba, my friend, you need Jesus. Maybe he'd have some more followers if he was a nicer person. And I'm going to put it out there. And I gave him a love heart. And he must have been.
Do you know what? I guarantee you, he saw that and he went, Johnny Nelson just replied to my comment. Amazing. He was probably buzzing. That's all he wanted.
And Carl sent me a message saying, well handled, mate. Because some people, they buy it back and come back with abuse. And I think you don't need to do that. You don't need to do it. It's charm and disarm. You don't need to be because it's just it's healthy banter. Sometimes it gets a bit personal, the language gets a bit colourful, but it's healthy banter. I don't mind that. You know, I'm a Sheffield boy, and I think, you know what, I'm used to that shit. Yeah, so it's a good giggle.
I tell you what I like about Carl is, like, obviously he is quite dry, and I've met him a couple of times in person. He used to train in the gym that I trained in, and it was. He was always really funny, right? He was like, he's not what you expect him to be. Yeah. I can't remember how many shows ago it was, but they rolled out Eubanks Jr. and like Eubanks Jr. nigh on stood in front of him, grabbed the mic and was just like, "Oh, this is my show now." And Carl was just like, "Oh, I suppose, go on." Like it was just kind of like, "Oh, yeah, it's your moment, I suppose." Like off he went, and he's just chill with it.
And honestly, Carl's cool, man, and he gets a lot of unfair criticism, but he don't mind. He'll go in Carl's house and say, "You see that bulb there and that bulb there? That burns 12 pence a day. It wants 14 pence." I'm like, "You tight bastard!" But he's proper. Honestly, and I think you're funny. You are funny.
I mean, he came up the hard way, didn't he? And he fought for all of them years to get any sort of like notoriety. And once he got it, like it must have just been in him still.
Well, we were going to beat him up, if I'm honest with you, with the kids from our gym, because he boxed a guy from our gym called Damon Haig. Damon Haig was like good-looking kid from Derby Way, but he was from Sheffield. So he was in our gym. You're part of the Rat Pack. We'd fight like brother and sister in gym, but when we left, we all supported each other. And Carl proper mugged him off, and we wanted to jump him. He battered him. We wanted to jump him. I thought, he might against sod, you know. But then that's just how it is. It's how boys will be boys. It's just a good laugh.
John, so since we spoke last, there's obviously been an awful lot of changes in not just British boxing, but like world boxing. We've had, you know, the Matchroom DAZN stuff, and we've had Boxer and Sky Sports Boxing. From a fan's perspective, like we said from day one, you can never count out Sky, right? Sky's platform is enormous, and their backing is Comcast, and you know, it's something that, you know, even in the darker late 90s, early 2000s, Sky was the ones really putting on shows, whether they were good, bad, or whatever. They still stuck by it. So now we're in the stage where, to be fair, it's going pretty well with Boxer, isn't it? And it's they're good shows, they're fun shows. It looks good. You know, I'm enjoying it a lot, and the amount of checkbooks that's been opened by Adam to get people over, respect.
Well, you know what? So Sky have been in boxing for over 30 years. Yeah, you've seen them all come and go. Satanta, BT, Box Nation. They've all come with all this massive checkbook. We're going to do blah blah blah. and it's like the tortoise and the hare. Sky's just gone on and gone on and gone on, and they have been the one. They have created a formula. What works? They can sell any fight and get unbelievable audiences, and everybody that comes along, no matter what, they can't. And so the new boys now are DAZN, and DAZN, I think their lineup is great. I think the setup is great. I think their ideas and their ambition is great. But they've got to go through the same thing Sky went through to get to where Sky are. And so they're going to challenge Sky. And initially, everybody's saying, "Oh, well, Sky's done," because and Sky just said, "No, be patient." I didn't even know who was going to be our new promoter until the same time you knew. They kept it that tight a secret. Now Ben Shalom has come along. Ben Shalom, a young guy, 28 years old, he's got his outfit there. So when Ben came along, to people like me, Ben is very naive. He's very young. But Ben has been in boxing, and he's adapted his business mentality to boxing. It's very different. It's very unorthodox. Now everybody else in boxing, other promoters, don't like him. Why don't they like him? Because they think, why have you got that gig, such a big platform with Sky? And other potential promoters are probably pissed off with him because of the same reason. But what Ben is doing is Ben has done what Eddie did. Eddie came on the scene, and Eddie went against the grain, did it his way, and ruffled a few feathers, and said things what pissed people off. Of original old school promoters like Frank Warren and all the other promoters like Bob Aaron, and pissed them off. You're thinking, Jesus, what are you doing? And he gate crashed. Now Eddie Hearn is the best promoter in the world, it or not. But what Ben is doing, he's only doing an Eddie. And Eddie's got to try and undermine, talk him out of it, scare him, whatever, to make him think, you can't touch me, son. But slowly but surely, Ben's slowly but surely making ground. And Ben is ignorant enough and odd enough to not be affected by what Eddie's saying, and not be affected by what the naysayers are saying. And he's getting on. Now, I'm telling you, I've been to loads of big shows. And Frank Warren used to be the main when it came to big shows. He used to be the main man. And then Eddie came along. Eddie's killing it. He's young. He's approachable by all the young guys. And then Ben came along. Ben put on the fight with Amir Khan and Cal Brook. I'm telling you, the atmosphere in Manchester was mad. And I just thought, he's done it. Yep. He's done it, son. Well done. Now, if this young man, I did a piece with him, who is Ben Shalom the other day. It's going to come out soon on YouTube. And Ben, I got to know a bit more about him. Because I always said, Ben, you're going to get your head put down the toilet a few times because you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. So they're going to have you over. And he said, Johnny, you know what? I know I'm odd. I could be talking to you now, and my mind's racing 1,000,000 miles an hour. And if something else will pop in, it's like I just walk off and go and do it. And I forget that we're having a conversation. I'll do this. And I've just got to calm down. He said, I've always been like that from being a young man. It's not about the money. It's about the chase. So. And I loved what he said. I thought, oh, I like that. And when you see it, you'll see this guy in a different light. He said, Johnny, when I first started putting shows on at Bowls in Manchester, the worst day for me was payday. Whereas most people, the best day is payday. I've got some money. The worst day was payday because I had to pay everybody out. And I'd be hours before the point where I had no money. I had to pay people. I'm thinking, shit. Now you're looking at all these promoters, you're thinking every one of them got big money. Ben doesn't wear any jewelry. You don't see him pulling up in no chauffeur-driven Bentley. It's like you're looking, you think he's very unassuming. Yeah. And I thought, you know what, you carry on doing what you're doing, and you'll be all right, son. You'll be all right, but you're going to take a lot of stick on the way. I think he
is an odd guy. He does come off as odd.
Yeah. He said, John, we'll do a live show, and you'll be interviewing him. And the second he's finished talking, he'd say, "Have I done now?" And walk off in front of the camera. He'd be like. And I told him, he went, do I? I went, every time, man, don't you watch the show back? No. Oh my God. But it's funny. And so now the kid's funny. And I call him a kid because he's a kid. He could be my kid. And I just think, wow. But he's got his finger on the pulse with when he put one show on, he had, like it or not, that new era of like YouTubers and reality stars. They're all there. Yeah, they're all there. They want to be in there. And he's managed to get these people involved. And I thought, you know what, Ben? Keep doing what you're doing, man, because you can only succeed. And I like him. When it comes out, You will love this piece on this young man. And I
Look forward
thought, and
to
I
seeing
learned
that.
a lot from him. I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot about who he was, should I say. And I understand why people would be threatened by him. But as I say, he's got to take his stripes and take his licks.
The way that I see it is like Eddie understands the fan, like the main fan, right? He understands like people like myself, Streets, you. He understands that very well because he is one of us as well, and that's the thing that's very likable about Eddie. Ben seems to understand the next wave of fans coming in, and it's not the people there to watch Jake Paul. It's actually, you know, ones that are cruising social media. Like we won tickets to the Dan Aziz card when he won the British. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he understands that people on socials are going through. They're like, oh, what's this? This looks cool. What's Boxer? All right, I've got to tag this. Oh, now they've got them. Right? He seems to understand that, and especially with the platform that Sky are giving him. Yeah, Ben. Like he seems to understand how to get a new generation of fans in, and a new type of fan is what it seems like. And obviously, the Boxer tournament is prize fighter redone, but it's different, and it's a higher
shall I tell
end
you why it's
production.
different? Yeah, shall I tell you why it's different? And because what Ben has done is he's making sure he gets fighters that have not had too much experience as professional fighters. He's not bringing a former world or former European champion to box this because they're smart. You want fighters that are ignorant, that don't know any better, that want to go in there for 3 rounds and have a tear. And that's why the tournament's good. You know, he's not overcooked it and got 3 smart and thought, I'm going to get you in. Used to be you box for this, that, and the other. Because I now, when I box, once I got to world championship level, it'd be an absolute nightmare to box 3 rounds, 3 quick rounds, and then because you think, Jesus, you're turning a marathon runner into a sprinter. And so Ben has made sure the formula is make sure they've had only so many fights, and that to me is a great formula. I saw the tournament, and as I said, I had someone in the tournament, and even though my fighter lost, it was a good night. It was a wicked night, and he did a good job.
Good one. And the emphasis that he's putting on to bringing in new heavyweight talent. You know, we're not just talking about like the blue chips like Frazier, but you got like USSR Steve, and you got a couple of other ones coming through because the entry at heavyweight is very thin at the minute, and like the top tier, really fat. Mid tier is like, you know, your Fabio Wardleys, your Gormans, your, you know, et cetera, et cetera. They're looking all right now, but there's a big jump between them and elite. And then the stage below, that's the thing that really needs to come up, and that's coming out really nice.
Yeah, and Ben's got a great platform for it. And like, you know, or not, how many times you walk in a pub and see the Zone on the TV?
Never.
You know, it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
and so once Sky is still in that position, then they're in a strong position. But they also have got a lot of content to let you know. You know, if you're watching the football and it comes to half time, you know, such and such is fighting this day. So it's a great way to perform it, to produce it. And pay-per-view again. They've got a formula, be able to sell stuff, to sell a show. And if you're a fan, if you're a real fan, you'll not miss it. I work with a boxing team, and they are an unbelievably talented bunch of people, you know, and people like me and Adam and whoever's front of camera, you know, we're just the front man. The real talent is the girls and boys behind the scenes, and they are, for what little they have and what they can produce. Their brains are mad. They're like nutty professors, and when you see the end result, you just think, wow. And I mean, from the producers to the directors honestly, it's a good team. It's a good team. It's like a dysfunctional family, but it's a good team, man. They're the
best families always.
Yeah, I like it. And I've seen some of them come from runners and now in great positions to be directors and stuff like that. And I think I'm kind of proud of it. I think, wow, you know, I've been there long enough to see him come and go.
Was there ever any question of you maybe going to the Zone or staying with Sky? Because I know you and Adam are very close.
Yeah. So I've been with Sky from when I retired, and Sky have always been. They've been right with me. They gave me an opportunity, and I thought, any day now, I'm thinking they're going to tap me in the shoulder and say, "Nelson, you don't know what you're talking about. Off you go." But I've also seen everybody come and go.
Yep.
all the frightening words and be saying, "Oh my God, this guy's done." I've seen it too many times. So I was going nowhere.
Yep.
I was going nowhere because I looked and I thought, you know what? I know this works. So when a guy say to me, "Johnny, we don't need you anymore," then I ain't going anywhere.
Yep.
I get paid good money for something that I love doing for a company that is a proven track record. So I'm probably more insulted that I've not been asked. That hurts more than anything else. So,
but maybe they just know that you're part of the furniture.
They didn't even ask me, man. They asked everybody else. I'm like, yo, ask me. But to me, I see it and I watch it and I think, if you're a fan, a boxing fan, what a great time to love boxing. Yep. You've got so many different platforms. If you're a fighter, what a great time to be a fighter. I bumped into Conor Benn the other day.
Yep.
And Conor just pulled up in his convertible white Porsche, and I thought, God damn. And he pulled up, he said, "You all right, Johnny?" He said, "Yeah." I asked him how things are going. I said, "Keep doing what you're doing, man."
Yep.
And he's such a nice guy, such a nice kid. And I miss him. I do miss him.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, "Yo, man, I miss you, man, but keep doing your thing." And there's a lot of fighters that I miss. But now on Sky, it's a time to give the chance to fighters that never had a chance before to get on TV. And so it's the new breed coming through. And I'm sure the Conor Benns and people like that and Boatzis and people, they're fighting and they're just not getting the eyes that they probably got before. And that probably hurts a little bit, but the money they're getting paid is ridiculous. Yeah. So you've got to weigh up. Do you want the popularity or do you want the dough? And if Sky are paying the dough, then you're going to go there because we're prize fighters. But at the end of the day, you know, if you went to the average man in the street and said, "Who did Joshua Boatzis box on Saturday?" to say, "Oh, did he box?" You know what I mean?
Yeah. They know Boatzis, but they don't know. It's like they know that name, right? And then there's very little else on.
Right. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So, and it's like even Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor's what you're like, "Oh yeah, I saw someone in the paper." And the thing is, it's that kind of thing, and that's where the fighters probably they've got to wait up. All right, not many people are seeing me, right? I'm getting paid, and I'm a prize fighter, and so and they're getting their work in. So I understand what they're doing. I get what they're doing. And so it's just a waiting game. Just see how things turn out and see what happens. And so, but listen, I watch DAZN like everybody else. You know, I watch BT boxing like everybody else. I watch every boxing that's all over the place. And I'm a fan like everybody else, you know, but again, I'm an ex-fighter that sees what understands inside the ropes. I'm a fan and a broadcaster that enjoys the luxury. This competition with everybody is creating outside the ropes.
Now, from a fan perspective, I think one of the smartest things that Sky has done is utilizing YouTube fully. So they've done the Top Rank deal. You know, you wait 12 hours, and you know, for people I don't even have Sky. When there's something big on Sky, I buy a Now TV Day Pass, and I'll do pay-per-views.
Good move by Sky, though. It's a great move that as well. They need.
That's a great move. It's the access to it, right? Because I only watch one sport. I don't care about F1 and football and cricket and all that stuff, or you know, ladies cricket at 2 a.m. You can push that to me all you want. It's not going to happen. But the YouTube utilization, everything goes on there, and everything goes on there in full, and it's just brilliant.
Yeah, it's a great move, and that's what I'm saying. They're making it more accessible. And like it or not, you know, the idea is Sky are more or less I don't know what the numbers are and how many homes they are in the country, but almost everybody's got some version of Sky or a dish, but a dish, I'm talking old school. And now they've gone onto YouTube. They're making it almost impossible not to be able to access their material. And so, which you've got to move with the times, and that's what they're doing. They're moving with the times, and it's great. I'm saying. Was it me and Matthew Macklin were talking the other day, and we're laughing, saying, "I'm saying, Jesus Christ, man, if we were fighting now, we'd get paid some ridiculous dough." But you just got to let that thing go, man. You got to let it go. But that's just how it is.
What is nice to see is like boys that have come up the hard way, like an ex-Ingle fighter like Lee Wood, who's getting his time now, and he's had an absolute. If that's not fight of the year, I don't know what would be. Right? Yeah. Heaven help what it is, but.
Yeah, Lee Wood used to train in our gym, and Lee Wood's a nice guy, man. And he can box. He's cool. He's a slickster. And so when he got his opportunity to fight for the world title and win it, and then in his last fight against Conlon, I thought, shit. Because Lee, if I'm honest with you, when he was at our gym, I thought the problem was cojones. When the pressure's on, he seemed to break. He seemed to lose confidence in himself. So when it came to that Conlon fight, I'm thinking he's going to fold here. He, as far as I'm concerned, proved he's not a boy anymore.
Nope.
I'm a man, and look what I can do. I can take my licks. I can be down, flat on my back, and get back up, and still kick you off. That fight, he'd have learned so much from that fight about himself. It's ridiculous. He'll have learned so much. And he'd be a better fighter from it, because the style of fight he has is not. He doesn't wear him out. He's not in your face kind of fight. He's a slick boxer, but now he knows what he's capable of doing. So he's the kind of guy that will defend his title 3 or 4 or 5 times and do well.
Now it would be rude for us not to get some Johnny Nelson hot takes on a certain few subjects, right? Because obviously, when do we get the Don on? Number one for me. AJ Usyk II, right?
Oh, damn you, man.
I have to. Now, from my perspective, and I've said this before, AJ's loved, right? And obviously, he's had a little bit of he showed some young men maybe don't speak badly to a 6'6" heavyweight Adonis because it won't go well, which was fine. But from a PR perspective, he beats Usyk this time, right? And never count AJ out. How could you count out the specimen that is him? Do you think the fans will just say, well, the geezer's been fighting a war, like, bothered? He was, you don't think so?
Let's address them in order. So this little thing that's flying about today with AJ cussing out these students, all of a sudden, social media has made many people very brave.
Very.
To say things that they probably wouldn't say to your face. Look at the guy on the plane the other day with Mike Tyson.
I was about to mention that.
Right. So all of a sudden, this man thinks because it's Mike Tyson, I can say X, Y, Z, and you can't do nothing back. Would you do that normally to somebody if it wasn't Mike Tyson? So therefore, then you say, well, you can't do that. Why can't I do it? I'm still human. I'm responding to what you're doing. You're goading me. You're digging at me. It's the only person. So AJ, what AJ's done is said, yo, you know what? I don't care about that media stuff. I'm still a man. I'm still a person. Yeah. What you're saying to me hurts. Would you say to a normal 6'6" black guy walking down the street? No. So why are you picking on me? Yeah. You know what I mean? So I get that. So I think, you know what, AJ, go on. Well done. Because people are so brave behind a keyboard, braver than they'd ever would be. I saw a clip with Deontay Wilder going into the gym and put it on him guy.
Yeah, Charlie Zelenoff,
yeah. And you know what? And maybe, and he frightened the life out of him. And if he wants to deal with him hard. He frightened the life out of him. Mm-hmm. And there's too many people that are so brave behind a keyboard that they think, you know what, I can say this without to me, and that don't run. Unfortunately, you know, the one who get the bad press is AJ. They're trying to give him bad press. You don't get bad press on me because I'm saying, you know what, good on you.
Yeah.
Because that's out of order. Mike Tyson, you ain't getting bad press on me. Good on you. It's basically.
There weren't even any charges pressed, were there? Yeah. They just went, no, the geezer's an arsehole.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. You went to court. If a judge was fair, judge would say, well, why were you doing that? Why did you not expect anything back? Because and that's what I'm saying. So in regards to that, good on him. Well done, AJ. In regards to AJ for Usyk, AJ went out and tried to, and let's just look at AJ as a young man. AJ, 18 years old, started boxing. He's had to do his career and earn his stripes in the public eye from day dot. What he's achieved is ridiculous. What he's achieved for the little knowledge he knew. We did a show in Eddie's back garden, and AJ said to me, and he's like shadowboxing like he does when he stood there a bit bored, and he said, you know what, I've just learned to slip. And I thought he was joking. You know what? Yep. He went slip. You know, when they let shots come on, slip the shots. I'm like, what the fuck? What? Like, what? And I thought, where's the punchline here? And so this guy's learning on the job. And so if you look at what he's achieved and the people he's beat for the little he knows, he has won the channel. This guy is ridiculous. He should never be able to do that. And so again, when he lost to Ruiz, everybody wrote him off. That's it. He's done his bubbles bust. And I went, no, he ain't done. AJ will come back. I'll get 1,000%. Adam ripped my ass out. Everybody's ripped me saying, there's no 1,000%. Don't be stupid. I said, trust me. This boy, he's a thinker. He's a thinking, all right, I did it wrong this way. If there's a way to beat a man, if he gets it wrong the first time, he won't get it wrong the second time. I personally think he has the beating of Usyk. But this is a tough ask. Because Usyk, I saw Usyk in 3 fights in sparring with Klitschko, and I said that guy's the heir apparent. I don't think it's been as effective at heavyweight as it was at cruiserweight, but now the heavyweights have got somebody that can fight, that can box, that knows the boxing game. Now, if you're a big unit like AJ or Tyson Fury, and you've got Usyk coming in, you've got to manhandle him. You've got to rough him up. You've got to make him feel like he's a little boy. You've got to put it on him. And AJ's got to go in there, and AJ's got to bring back the same attitude he had when he boxed Dylan White. He was raw, he was rugged, he was rough, he was unpredictable. Now he's become too refined. He's doing things correct. And I understand he now knows the basic things. Right, this is how you do it. I've learned now. He's got to be that ruggedness. He's got to bring that ruggedness in. And even look at Tyson Fury when he fights. And Tyson Fury, there's no secret that I've never given the full backing, because I think, and he uses the phrase, you're a shit house. Shit house means you're full of shit. You know what we're talking about. So when he's talked and he's blagging, his delivery makes you think, nah, he's full of shit in my head. But he's proved everything that he said. He backs up. So now you've got to look at him as the best fighter in the world, because he's backed up everything he said, like it or not. His delivery might not be palatable, but he's backed up everything he said. So no matter what, he's done it. And when he says, I'm a fighting man, he can box, he can scrap, he can maul, he can fight dirty, he can lean on it. He's an all-round fighter.
He can take a punch.
He can take a shot. That's what I'm saying. He's an all-round fighter. And so you've got to be prepared to push it to the wire, box incorrectly, punch a man in the balls on the blind side of the referee. When he looks at the referee complain, bang, get him. You know, Tyson Fury's capable of doing that. We've seen him hit a man with a forearm before. We've seen him push the rules to the limit. This is fighting. This isn't tiddlywinks. So I say, you know what? I got to give you props. AJ is trying to play well and truly within the rules. He needs to throw the rule book out the window. And in my book, what AJ needs to do, he needs to get Usyk complaining and uncomfortable to the referee. You look at the fight when they both boxed each other. You look at Usyk's face the last time. It looked like he'd been hit by a truck. By a kid that had done nothing as much as he done. Usyk had won the Olympic Games and got gold the Olympics before AJ and the same Olympics. So what Usyk's talent is miles in the ocean compared to AJ. But what AJ did to him there, Usyk was just on it. AJ made a massive mistake. AJ slipped up. AJ's got to go back, lick his wounds, think, right, you know what? I'm throwing the kitchen sink at you. This is how it's going to go. And I think it's a strong possibility he can turn it around. No, I'm not going to say 1,000%. But I'm not going to say it's impossible. What I'm saying is AJ can pull this off. Then all of a sudden, AJ is no longer the favorite son. He's now Tyson Fury. AJ's got to get himself into a position when those two fight again, because Tyson Fury has now established himself as the #1 fighter in the world.
I mean, that would be, I think, for me, the one saving. So, like I said, never count out AJ. And to be fair, the loss to Usyk was probably the best he's ever looked in the ring, right? He really did look quite special. And he was looking so special in spots where you could feel that maybe the home judges might be on the naughtier side that night. But should he absolutely annihilate Usyk? Do you not think that there would be the very fickle fans and the press would just say, well, you don't think so? No, you just think immediately we roll on to Fury for undisputed?
I think Usyk will get the sympathy of the world because of what's happening in Ukraine at the moment. But please don't fool yourself and think he's training in some half blown up building in the middle of the Ukraine. You know, he's preparing just like Anthony Joshua is, and he's a very patriotic individual. Usyk. I've seen him in his dressing room. He's a proper countryman, and so this will mean a hell of a lot to him. So he's fighting for a lot more than just defending his belt. So this is why he's got more to fight for. This might even be a harder fight for Anthony Joshua. So if Anthony Joshua goes in there and turns him over, right, you've got to give him credit, because you're fighting a man with purpose. You're fighting a man that's fighting for a completely different reason than you and I fight. You're fighting a man that can actually fight, and he's got a country and the world well and truly behind him. So that's why this fight will be harder. I think then after that, if AJ beats him, then AJ, like it or not, he's got to say, you know, I'm the B side. because he's got to now prove he can beat Tyson and Fury, because Tyson Fury has proved everything else. You can't not knock it. You can't not back him, because Tyson Fury has done everything asked of him. He's not lost. He's gone out there and beat whoever you put in front of him, regardless of what talent, what you put him in regards to rankings of the best heavyweights. I wouldn't put him there as the best heavyweights, because you'd look at of all time. I mean, because you look at the talent around him, the people he's fought around him. Then you look at the talent around Lennox Lewis when he was world champion. Mike Tyson when he was world champion. Joe Louis, Jack Johnson. So the talent, the opposition was a lot tougher. But so it's not really fair to compare. Currently, Tyson Fury has proved that he's the best fighter in the world.
Yeah.
And that's all he's had to do. Has he retired? Will he never box again? Do me a favour.
Nah.
Nobody believes. Not even his wife believes that.
Yeah. No. When you said he's done exactly what he said, I was genuinely surprised with the third Deontay Wilder fight when he said, I'm going to go straight at him and I'm going to knock him out. And I was like, oh, he's trying to get under his skin and all that. Yeah. And when he did it, he was just like, yeah, I've been telling everybody. I was like, there was no way I thought that was going to happen.
That's what I'm saying. And what probably gets people's back up, if you're not a Tyson Fury fan, is his delivery.
Yeah.
And you think, bastard. You know what I mean? You know, shit, he's done it again. You know, you got to put your hands up to it and say, you know what? You've done it again, man. I don't like how you tell me, but you've done it again. So give respect where respect is due.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what you got to do.
We both, and this might be a bit of a segue, but we were both kind of, we were definitely like that with Fury, but also a bit with Canelo. Like, I love Canelo when he first came on the scene as this super fresh face, ginger Mexican kid. I was like, who the hell is this? But then when it was like the Canelo weight, they were bringing up people trying to build his profile, and you got people like Triple G doing it the hard way and everything. You're like, and it was a bit too golden boy-ish, but it gets to the point where you're like, you can't deny, like, he's literally fighting everybody, and you can't.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying with Canelo. I think two of his last five fights, he's looked below par, and I don't know if he's getting tired. He's been boxing since he was 15 professionally. 15, if he's tired or he's complacent. He's a wealthy man. His grandkids will never be able to spend all the money he's earned. Yeah. So I don't know if he's complacent or he's getting shot one and tired. Because in his last fight he lost. He lost clearly against Caleb Plant?
Caleb Plant.
I thought, even though he won, I actually thought he didn't box great. But then when he boxed Triple G, the first fight when it was a draw, I thought Triple G won. Second fight, after the first fight, I thought, you know what else can he do? He came back the second fight, and I thought, shit, stepped it up 2 or 3 more levels. You know, you thought, God damn.
I thought that one was a draw, though. The second fight,
I gave it to Canelo.
I gave it Canelo. Now this third fight, I think Canelo beats him.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
But I think Canelo beats him. What bothered me was with Canelo was when they were saying he was going to step up to cruiserweight and fight for the cruiserweight title. I was offended.
Yeah, I heard you on a number of interviews. You had the right hump about that.
Yeah, and I didn't like. I'm like, no, this ain't fair, because any cruiserweight worth his salt is not going to let this little gingerhead man come in and jump up to our weight and deal with us. It's not happening. Nothing against gingerhead people. What I'm saying is, he jumped to jump up a cruiserweight and say I'm cruiserweight world champion. Now you can only pick on. He's talking about boxing on Garber, I think it was. I can't remember. I think it was. And so that's a soft touch. Yeah, boxing not too big, not too long, not too much about him, and you could see it like he beat up Kovalev. You could see it happening. But why didn't you say that when Usyk was world cruiserweight champion?
Yeah.
Why didn't you say that?
He started talking about Usyk after, didn't he? He started talking about Usyk in the build-up to Bivol.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He ain't going to fight Usyk. Usyk will give him Tim and last. It's not happening. So what I'm saying is, I'm insulted when he's talking about doing that. And I'd be double insulted if he found a soft touch at cruiserweight for him to say he's the cruiserweight world champion. Because that would never have happened. I don't care what people say when they see this. He would never have beaten me at cruiserweight. I don't care what anybody says. It's just a no-no. I'm too big, too strong, too fast, and I've had too much on him. Now, if he's getting there with a real cruiserweight, it could happen. I wouldn't have it. I won't buy it.
That's what I have to give him for. And it pissed me off a little bit in the lead up to Bivol that it's just people were sleeping on Bivol so much. And we were saying in the build up to it, we were like, look, I think Canelo will probably win. And the sad reality is often that is when it goes to the cards, you got to put, like, they had him as a draw against Mayweather. That I think that's all that needs to be said about when things go to the cards. As much as it's the reality of it. I was hoping it wouldn't come in, but we were like, but Bivol is a fucking monster. Like, and it was disrespectful to Bivol to just be like, Canelo's fighting some can. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, if he wins, Canelo deserves all the respect in the world because that is a savage of a man. He's in the ring.
I saw Bivol box in Monte Carlo, and I thought, shit, he's good. This boy's good. When people just writing him off, I'm thinking, if Canelo would have beaten him, to me, Canelo is a proper, true and utter god. Because I'm thinking because there's nobody there to beat this young man because he's doing it with everybody and anybody. How's he managing it? So, but he didn't. And that, again, I think people are sleeping on his job, getting carried away with the hype, you know. And then really, if I went to the street and said, you know what, you know, he's an amazing fighter, and they might never have seen him, and then someone else says it, and someone else says it, something. Just because everybody's saying it doesn't mean it's true. Now, Canelo was done an amazing job, but the problem is people are like sheep. Do your homework, check it out. Don't be afraid of having your own opinion. Don't be afraid of maybe getting it wrong. Don't say something just because you don't want to be proved wrong. Say something, back it up, and then you think, and if you're wrong, you say, no, I got that wrong. I respect that, and people actually respect that. But people that are like leaves in the wind, and I'm only saying it because, well, that's the way it's going to go. They lose respect sooner rather than later, because you can always remember the truth, you can never remember a lie. So if you're going to say this guy can win, he can this, that, and the other, and then you ask about the same guy 5 fights down the line, you can't remember the bullshit you said about him. You'll always remember the truth you said about a fighter.
Nice. Mr. Nelson, it's getting very late and I'm not going to keep you any longer. Thank you so much.
Over.
Time flies with the champ.
There's flies. That's like nearly an hour, mate. Thank you so much for your time.
You're joking.
Legend.
It's nearly an hour, dude.
No, man.
It's nearly
Mike's wife's next door with her boyfriend, and she's done some cooking. So I'm going to go down, not on the pond, saying, "You got any food left?"
Johnny, mate. Absolutely, and always, and a mega pleasure to have you.
So much, chap.
We'll reach out to have you back, maybe end of the year. Thank you so much.
Anytime, boys. Anytime. Completely.
Take care.
Pleasure.
Thanks again.
Thank you, man.
Peace.
Bye.
Later.